And it first really began to pop up when they started going after Jewish reporters. It was brutal.
When was this? Before the campaign or during the campaign?
Mm-hmm. And those are the troll army that largely came out in full support of Trump. Mm-hmm. And so when you watch what they did to a writer like Ben Shapiro or Jonathan Weissman of the Wall Street Journal, mm-hmm. I mean, it was not only vicious, but you couldn't track it. It was so much. And I kind of lay out in the book, like, once a horde of trolls feel comfortable telling people to get in the oven.
In public.
In public.
Yeah.
With their names,
right.
with websites.
Yep.
I mean, it's all out there. Mm-hmm. They'll say anything for Trump.
Right.
And they did.
Mm-hmm. Do you think, because when I was covering some of those moments, I thought, mm-hmm. gosh, someone must have told candidate Trump, you need these people to win. And so we can nod at them occasionally.
Yeah.
Do you think it's that worse, he sympathizes with them, or do you think he used them?
I think it's more the latter. I think Donald Trump is a manipulator, and anything that can help him, he will use.
I'm going to clean this up for you all out there. Here we have a couple of typical, erudite, libtard, crunt white bitches. That's what they are, a couple of crunts. Talking about Trump being a racist. I'm just like Trump. I'm not a racist. But I will use, and I've said this before, every caricature pejorative about whatever ilk you choose to represent. And if you think white men like myself are fed up, you're probably right. But let me tell you something, my little entitled white hussy. That, you know, the white liberal women have captured more gravitas and power over civil rights than all the other minorities combined. Mostly because the black people are too stupid. That's why they keep voting Democrat, while they stay in the same place they've been in for how many decades now since the Great Society? 23 trillion spent on the Great Society. You know how much of that money was mopped up by white liberal women? Most of it. Because the halls of the welfare government franchise is polluted with them. So they sprinkle a little bit of welfare money on the poor minorities, and they've gotten rich, especially politically. Now you take someone like Nancy Pelosi worth $150 million. That moronic witch. And here's a couple more in the making. Boutons, prostitutes of the highest order. I got white women in my family. They had the same opportunities I had, except for one thing. They never had the government shackle them the way they did me and millions of white men. They were never told you can't go to college because you're a white female. Or you can't have a civil service job because you're a white female, like they told it to me, writing 99s and 98s. So when I listen to these Benedict Arnold prostitutes, I really want to drop them off in the neighborhood where ISIS rules so they could become part of a haram at best, and maybe get a real good haircut at worst, if you know what I'm talking about. Because these people need to be killed. Because if we don't kill these people, they're killing this country. While they get more and more entitled, they tell you about a glass ceiling. And they're dumb. The dumbness of these females, these cackling hens, is the rocket fuel that lends itself to the trajectory of their evil. Like Hillary Clinton, their goddess. Baal worshippers all, sacrificing their babies to Marduk. Baal worship, that's what they are. The most evil, nasty bitches that ever walked the earth are entitled white liberal females. Oh, would I build a gulag for them? I'll tell you one thing they'd never do, part with a shovel and a pickaxe. Wherever they went, It'd be strapped to their bodies. And when I wasn't watching them eat, shit, or sleep, they'd be digging a hole somewhere, preferably through hard rock, so they'd understand what men have understood. Right? Because these turncoats, these evil traitoresses, who never lifted anything more than a pocketbook and a pair of shoes, never ever found themselves at the bottom of a big hole with a small shovel in their hands. But pray God the day's coming. And God help them if I ever was controlling this. These Jezebels would be mourning that they were still alive.